Hi guys, how you all doing? My name is Ranjay Kobibi. I'm 20 years old and I'm currently trading forex. And you here to join me in forex chat. Well, I would first say you should start with money you can afford to lose, as forex trading is very risky. As far as tips, I would say when looking for a broker, I would preferably say look for one in South Africa so that if you do have any problems, you can always get your money back quickly. Um, don't over leverage. Don't put in a lot of entries because it is very risky. It will take you out immediately if you do go into a loss. Use risk to reward ratio, usually 1 to 2, not 1 to 1, because the 50-50 chance is very slim, and that's how most traders blow their accounts. Another tip I would give is stay very focused in what you do and do not expect to become an overnight success, as you rather have a better chance in gambling. Forex traders who are successful are very educated. They have been through trial and error. They do almost everything in their power to get as much information as possible. So don't expect to become an overnight success. Another tip would be your psychology. It is 20% skill and 80% psychology. So always make sure that you are mentally prepared to trade, because sometimes people can become very greedy and the markets can flip on you. Yeah. Well, the opportunity will come in knowing your background. So if you are very familiar with the markets, depending on what you're trading, it could be shares, it could be forex. But in this case, we're talking about forex. So if you had to trade a specific pair, let's say Euro USD, you would do something called a setup, where you would wait for the markets to fall into place, theoretically. And that's how you would spot a perfect entry, is when you just, by patience. You will see it eventually. Well, you can get involved any way possible, really. There are multiple ways in which you can get into it in terms of education. There are people that sell courses, and for those who don't necessarily have the funding, there's a website called Baby Pips on Google, where I actually started and found a bit of my information. And they kind of just break down step by step how you can trade, what to look out for. So if you want to get involved into Forex, I would say find a broker, open a demo account for now, trade with fake money, see how it is, and if you are really comfortable with it and you know what you're doing, then I can say you can maybe step up to trading 1,000 rand account or so. No, take it from there. Well, in the beginning, I really never had an interest in forex. I always saw a few of my friends doing it, didn't really know what it was about, but eventually, one of my mentor, who is still my friend actually. He was doing it, and I saw him doing very well, making an additional income, and I said, like, well, let me get involved. So what's it about? Started out, I wasn't really interested. Really, things weren't looking very well. Lost a lot of money, blah blah blah. Then I kind of gave up for about a few months, and a few months later, I got back into it because I really didn't have much to do. Started trading again, and the minute I took it seriously, I started enjoying what I was doing. Reading fundamental news and all of those things really, you get interested over time. And ever since, I've just stuck to it. And the more and more you fall in love with the process, the more and more profits you'll make. It really does take time and education. Like, for instance, if you wanted to become a doctor, you can't watch a YouTube video and expect the next day to do surgery on a person. Same thing when it comes to anything you want to do, engineering, lawyer, you need education. And in terms of forex, you are dealing with real money. So in order to make money, you need to understand money. And many people think forex is similar to gambling. You just go in and you blow all the money you have. If you win and you don't know what you're doing, that's called gambling. If you have knowledge and understand and make profits, that's a trader. And this is not something that is made up. The markets turn over $25 trillion a day. So forex is really not a scam, and people mistaken it to be a scam because they don't have the correct knowledge when trading. I would say so, yes. It's very easy now for people in my generation or my age to utilize a variety of instruments to make our daily lives better. Like with trading, we have so many platforms we can trade on, or even devices. You have your phone, you have your laptop. You really have no limit, so there is no excuse to why you can't. You know, yeah. Um, well, yes, because forex shouldn't be your only. Forex acts as an additional income, but if you want to become a full time trader, make sure you have the resources for it and that you are prepared to do it. But as for now, I would say I'm still building myself to a point where I can officially say that I'm quitting and I'm going to be a full time trader. The resources we have is before, people weren't necessarily familiar with what to trade on. A lot of people will trade on IQ options and not necessarily understand what they're doing. But for now, we have MetaTrader 4, we have TradingView, which is honestly the best way to read your charts, in my opinion. I mean, it's free. If you wanted additional features, you can actually pay for that as well. So there are so many ways to read the markets. You can watch the news, you can go onto YouTube where people broadcast the charts. You can go onto Instagram where people host lives while they're trading. And in general, you can just open a discussion about it on maybe Zoom or something. So the possibilities are endless. I would say you should never cap your limitations. So never tell yourself you're gonna do it in 1 year. Never tell yourself you're gonna do it in 2 years. Tell yourself that you will do it, but you need to give yourself time. Because if you cap the amount of time that it takes, you are going to feel pressured. You won't do that thing, and if you don't reach that goal by that period in time, you're going to be very demotivated and blame it on your driving factor. So never say I'm going to take 1 or 2 years to do a specific thing. Rather just say, in time I will achieve it, but as for now I'm going to work towards getting it. My realistic trading goals is I want to have at least a 5-figure account, so 50,000, 6-figure account, so at least 60 or 70,000 rand plus in there. Making a consistent amount of at least, let's say, 70 to 80,000 rand a month trading the markets, and having my psychology 100%. Because there are still flaws in my psychology. Nobody's perfect, but we all work towards perfecting our craft, and that's what I can say is my realistic goals. All I would say is don't spend all of the money you have. Invest as much as you can, not into a bank because you don't really get any returns in it. Invest it into things that will make an income, like invest it into yourself, invest it into a business that you think will be great, or even invest it into the financial markets, which is always a good option in my case. So yeah.